Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today I'm going to be doing a prototype playthrough of cyberquest. This is an adventure game for 1 to 4 players where you're going to be taking control of these cyber pets and you're going to be going on multiple adventures that have branching storylines throughout this pocket-sized adventure game. The goal of this adventure game is to be able to take Jane, who is the cat, and of course all of her cyber pet friends, to find the missing owner named Howard. Where he went, how he disappeared, we don't know. We're going to have to uncover the clues going through this adventure game and figure out where he is and how to save him. In this playthrough, I'm just going to run through one small mission. It's going to be from this apartment area. We have to try to get out of the apartment. There is a mission before this that was just a tutorial on kind of how to move and everything. But this first mission will be able to put all the pieces of this game together so you can see exactly how it's played. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story in this particular mission. And do know that each mission does have a story that goes along with it, so you're able to experience the life of these cyber pets. This is from a publisher called Dead or Alive Games. They are some friends of mine, and William also was a really good friend of mine over at Hungry Gamer, and he made me aware of this game, and I said I would be more than happy to do a playthrough for them because I know them, and there are a lot of really nice guys over there. So I'm excited to show you what Cyberpet is. Let's dig into it, and if you're excited to see Cyberpet's quest, then I need you to meet me at the table. I'm going to do a quick setup just to show you one of the cyber pets, and all the cyber pets are going to have the exact same layout. Some of the numbers that I'm going to talk about might change a little bit on each character, but it's going to be generally the same way you're going to put it. The first thing you're going to have is a sneaking option. As you go through the game, you can choose to sneak when you perform your actions, which are going to make it harder for the enemies to find you, but also make it harder for you to do certain actions, and are going to cross off actions completely. The other one is the aggro token. If you want to, you can take the aggro token, but that means you basically have the priority token, and the bad guys are going to come after you. So it's a very interesting dynamic of how you have to interchange these two possible ways of interacting with the world and the enemies. Now we have our energy here. This is going to control all the different actions that a pet can do on its turn. Luck is going to be used for certain items or abilities going forward. For example, we had found this in an earlier part of the game where we have a pet collar for Jane where I can spend 3 luck to gain another energy, or a feather, which is going to be used for dodging when enemies attempt to attack you. So you're going to be gaining luck, you're going to be gaining energy. Now energy is a stat you're going to use completely each turn. Luck you're going to gain when you could potentially have a lot of it, but you can never go above 7. Health, of course, is your hit points. If you ever run out, you have lost. Now Jane has 4 hit points, it says right here, so I'll put it to there. Right here it does show that Jane starts with 4 energy, and she also is going to roll the die and gain energy that way when it's her turn. Now she starts with 0, and on your turn you'll gain your 4 and you'll roll to be able to do things. If you'll notice down here, there's a stat called dodge, and you're able to dodge one attack for each of the different symbols that come up on this die. Now, of course, she's going to be able to gain even 3 if she dodges it, but some characters, as you see going forward, might have some of these dice crossed off, making it harder for them to dodge attacks. She's a cat after all. She's pretty nimble. She can dodge, and this is how many energy we're going to spend in order to do some of our actions. For example, if I want to move 1 square, it's going to cost me 1 energy. So say I had 4. I would spend 1 to move. Then I could do other actions such as interact. I can also inspect with the hourglass, interact with the foot symbol here, or I could heal. I can heal 3 health. That's another option I have. Now, if you note over here, it says impact. Impact is the way you're going to be able to dodge some of the, or damage the enemies. And she can spend 3 energy to do 1 damage, but then she can also move 1 after it's done. Every pet does have a trait that they're going to be able to take advantage of. Jane's is that she may re-roll 1 die on your turn. Also, I can do it once per turn. I can I can give 1 energy to another pet within 0 spaces of me. So that is Jane, and like I said, all the other ones are very similar. I'll just quickly show you a couple of the other ones. Here's Rocket Raccoon, or I mean Freya. Freya's right here. Freya's got a total of 6 health. We'll put it up there. And Freya has an ability here that when Freya gains an item from the item deck, she can gain an extra item. And notice her abilities take a little bit different in order to undo them. For example, it takes 2 energy to move 1 square instead of 1 like it did for Jane. I mean, Jane's a cat after all, so she's a little bit faster. On top of that, it only takes 1 in order to interact because, of course, he's kind of got these paws, so it's easier for him to interact with things. So I think it's kind of cool that each animal kind of has its own specialty. Next we have Clay. Clay is the dog character in this particular thing. He's got 10 adventure. He's got 10 health. He also has a trait here that says when Clay does damage to his Sims, which are the enemies in this game, he may move that Sim 1 space, kind of drag him away. And once per turn, Clay may choose another pet within 1 and move them 1 space. So he has the ability to kind of manipulate where characters are on the board. Now, if you notice down here, like I said before, some of the dice have X's on them, which means that if you do roll that particular symbol, it's not going to help him in order to dodge. But that's okay. He's got 14 health. That should be, or sorry, he's got 10 health. That should really help out. And next we have the Canadian geese here. The Canadian geese, Roman. Roman, again, is going to start with 7. Now, Roman apparently loves to move. It costs him 3 energy, but it can move 3 spaces. So at some point, that might not be very advantageous, but it does have a huge flying speed if needed. Now, like I said, he doesn't dodge very well, but he can reduce damage by 1. So it's a very tanky type character. And when his Sim attacks another pet at 0, he may take the attack instead. And again, he's got 7 health, so that could be pretty good to have him just take up some of the damage. Like I said in the last episode, we were able to find our collars, which is why all of our pets have a particular collar. And we're moving into the actual chapter. Chapter 0 was the tutorial giving us those collars. Let's read a little bit here to find out what is going on, and then we'll move into the game. It says, to Jane, the Sims were their enemies. These were the scary ones who had changed and brought destruction to the city. When they entered the house from 2 directions, she knew that she and her friends had to fight. The pets could not just run past them. Jane knew the strange humans were too fast and too strong. While living at the zoo, Jane learned from the other animals how to defend herself against increasing numbers of Sims on the streets. A good impact to the head or by shoving something heavily into them usually does the trick. Armed with that knowledge, Jane quickly thought of an effective tactic. They could stun the Sims with their metallic parts of their bodies and heavy objects around the house. Jane immediately told everyone to investigate the house for anything that could be useful. Once they're stunned the Sims enough, they could escape. The front door took them to the busy main street where there might be more strange humans, but it led to one of the big moving metal boxes used by humans that could be useful. The back door led to the backyard and an alleyway, and a locked gate. If the pets could get through the closed gate there, perhaps they could quietly slip away. In this particular scenario, we're going to be going against the Sims. Sims are now going to be part of the game. In the tutorial, they were not, so this is the first introduction to the Sims. You're going to have this whole board, which is actually the cover of the box, and this is going to be where you put down your enemies. So we're going to take up this deck of cards here. There are quite a few of these Sim cards. These are all the different enemies that you could find in this game, and we're going to lay them out. The first one we have is Parting Blow for McFly. He has, when moving out of his space, take 2 damage. That's not going to be good. We'll put him right here in the red space. We'll draw our next card. We have found Yogi Zen. Move and attack, teleport directly to the target space and attack all pets in that space. That sounds absolutely terrible. The next one we're going to have to deal with is going to be Glitch. Glitch has tech support. That's kind of funny. It says target the closest pet instead of the pet with the aggro. If tied, the player chooses. Okay, so that's going to have a different target priority. And then last one is going to be Punk Girl, which is eye for an eye. Passive. Immediately when stunned, deal 2 damage to all pets within 0. Punk Girl. What a punk girl that is. The other thing we have to do is decide what difficulty we are going to play the game on. We can play it on easy, medium, or hard. I am choosing medium, and that is the recommended difficulty for the game. Next, we're going to place out our Sims. It tells us to place the red and blue ones in the 1 space and the yellow and green ones in space 6. They're coming through the back. They're coming through the front. We were supposed to place our pets in the place where they ended in the tutorial, and we all ended in this space right here looking for our collars. If you notice the blue squares in 2 through 5, you can search there to try to find an item, and items are generally pretty good. We also have two particular places that we can use in this adventure. We have pots and pans and bookshelves. You can use a search action there in order to inspect action to deal with what's there. And you'll flip the card over, do what it says on the back. Sometimes it'll have rules in the back. Sometimes it'll even tell you to go to a specific area of the book, the storybook, and learn what has happened. We have our round counter right here, and these are going to be the dice that we're going to roll each turn. Now, the way the turns are structured is we're going to go with a pet turn, and then we're going to go with a sim turn. So we're going to go back and forth until we either have a victor or we have been defeated. For this particular mission, a success is if we stun each sim once, and one or more pets at the front door space 1 or the back door space 6 immediately end the chapter. And if we're at the front door, we're going to go to conclusion 1, and the back door we're going to go to conclusion 2, branching the story based off of our decisions. And then of course we fail if any pet is knocked out continuously from the start to the end of the round. So the way that you could lose the game is you don't just, once you lose all your health, it's over. You become stunned yourself. Now, if you're not able to rectify that problem by the end of a round, at that point, then we would lose the game. But remember, some of our pets can help heal each other ones. If the success criteria is not met by the end of round 5, we're also going to lose. Here's the rule reference card for going through a round starting with the pets. The first thing we are going to do is each pet and sim gets one turn when the card is alternately drawn from the initiative deck. We'll start with the pet's turn. We're going to perform an energy generation, which is when we're going to roll these dice and we're going to get specific symbols on them to gain more things to do. If we get energy, we get to add energy to the amount that we have, which is above our base. If we get luck, we can add that to our luck. Now, of course, there are going to be ones with half symbols on them, and you're only going to gain half of one, but you can never gain half a point. If you don't get to a full point, you just don't get anything. Then we're going to decide if the pet wants to sneak. I'm going to either decide by flipping this up like this or like this, and if I decide not to sneak, I am going to be gaining the aggro token, which, like I said, will be that then I'll become the target of the enemies. Then we're going to spend our energy on abilities in their action store. At that point, then we're going to freely trade items with other pets in the same space. We can then trade unspent energy for luck up to a maximum of 7. So if you found that there's nothing else you can do, then you might as well spend it for luck. The aggro token, though, is a little unique. When in doubt of who should have this token, it starts with Jane, goes to Roman, then it's going to go to Clay and Faye. When the pet with the aggro token is, like I said, the target of all enemies on the board, they're going to run past the other ones just to get to that person. Unless, of course, there's a rule that supersedes anything on this card. So let's draw our first pet and see who it is. We are going to start by using Roman. The first thing Roman's going to do is roll 3 dice and see what we got. We got 2 lightning and 1 luck. So we'll take our luck and then we'll take our 2 energy. Now I also start with a base 4 energy. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Roman now has 6 energy to do things around the apartment. I think one thing he's going to do is move 3 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. But before we do that, we have to decide if we want to sneak or not. He's got a lot of health. He's going to take the aggro token. He is not sneaking. We don't need these dice anymore. We did our action. We're gonna do our actions. It's gonna take 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're gonna move 3 spaces. After we do that, we'll have to decide what we want to do next. There are a lot of sims on the board. I think it's best to just move 1, 2 over to here. I don't have to move my full movement. I'm gonna go over here and I might interact with this to see what it is. Or I should say inspect, sorry, not interact. And his inspect costs him 2 energy, bringing him down to 1 energy. Then we're going to flip the card over and read what it says. It says pots and pans. You see lots of pots and pans hanging from the ceiling over the middle of the kitchen. Maybe they could be useful. I can do an interact action here to deal 2 damage to all sims in this space, one-time use. All sims entering the space suffer 1 damage. And then we're going to read interlude 1. That's going to be the end that anything Roman can do, because it's going to cost me 3 to be able to interact with that, and I can't hit anything because there's nobody in my space. I have a range of 0, so it's not going to help me too much. So I'm going to drop my energy to 0, but I'm going to gain another luck because I can transfer that. When I run out of energy, I can trade energy for luck. With Roman complete, we will grab our first sim card, and we are going to activate the red sim. That is going to be McFly. So McFly does have an ability when moving out of his space, take 2 damage. So we'll see what happens here. He's and right here in this red space. His goal is to get to the aggro token. The aggro token is Roman. The way Sims are going to activate is they are going to find out if they are stunned. If they're stunned, they would become unstunned. And that is just by, the way I do it is I flip over the card for them to be stunned, and then unstunned, I will reflip the card over. Next, they're going to choose their target, and of course their target, unless specified otherwise by a card or a situation, will always be the aggro token, which is on Roman. At this point, the Sim will move and attack the priority target token person, which is Roman. So he's going to move and attack equal to what the difficulty you have chosen. For example, if we've done easy, it would move 2 towards it and deal 1 damage, and would take 2 to stun them. But we're playing on medium, so they're going to move 2 towards the priority target token, deal 2 damage to all pets. So that is all pets in this area here. There is only one, that is Roman. So he's going to be attacked, and then it will take 3 to stun these particular Sims. Having been attacked, I will roll this defense dice and we'll see what happens. I've got 3 of these feathers, but if we look at our card, Roman is unable to activate those 3 feathers, so he's not going to be able to dodge anything coming in, so he's going to take 2 damage, but I do have the ability to reduce damage by 1, so I'm going to go to 6. With Roman having completed his turn, we're going to go to the next person in our little group here. It's going to be Jane. Jane will roll the dice, see what extra stuff we get. We got 2 energy and half of luck, so we don't get any luck, but we are going to get our 4 energy and then 2 more, bringing us to 6. Now at this point, again, I have to choose if I want to sneak or if I want to take that priority token. Now I did forget about Jane's ability here where I can re-roll one of my dice, so I am going to re-roll that one, and we got another energy. We are at 7. And I also have an ability, during your turn, Jane may give 1 of her energy to another pet within 0. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get rid of 1 of my energy and give that energy to Clay, which is the dog right to the side. At this point, I am now going to do my actions. I'm going to do 1 action to move. Then I'm going to do 2 actions to inspect, and another 2 actions to inspect again. Then I'm going to give up my last action to give myself a luck. I'm going to move 1 over to here, then I'm going to inspect this, which is where I'm going to be able to gain an item. So we have found ourselves a lucky penny. During this pet's turn, immediately gain 3 luck. That's fantastic. So I'll put that in the discard pile and gain 3 luck. I am now up to 4 for her. And next thing I'm going to do is inspect this bookcase. It says, these shelves aren't bolted to the wall and are leaning forward. If one of the pets jumps into the gap, it might crash down. I can use an action to be able to stun all Sims in this special, this space, and read interlude 2. Wow, that's fantastic. I need to get a lot of Sims there right now. We're going to activate our next Sim and see who it is. It is going to be the yellow Sim. The yellow Sim is going to go next, which is going to be Punk Girl. This yellow Sim is going to move right over here since Jane has the priority target or priority token, and it's going to do 2 damage to every pet in that space. There is only 1, so Jane's going to take 2 damage. We will roll our defense die and see what we can do here. I did get 2 of these, and I am able to use all of the things we roll for her. So she's able to dodge both of those, both that damage, so nothing happens to her. Let's check out who the next pet that's going to activate is. It's going to be Clay. Clay will roll the dice. Now, I've already given Clay 5 energy because I got 1 from Jane. He got 2 more energy, which is pretty awesome. So he's going to get a total of 7. Now, the reason I gave him some energy is it takes a lot for him to move, and I wanted to get over there with the goose. So he's going to use as much energy as it takes to get over there, and then we'll see what we can do. Oh, and he is not going to be sneaking. He's going to take that token. He has no problem. He's a dog. He's good. Now, my dog sadly busted on, in transit, I guess. And so it's kind of like the Slinky dog from the Toy Story. So it kind of slinks along. I don't know why I thought that's funny, but I did. Okay, he's moved 2 spaces. 1, 2. That's going to cost him 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at 3 energy left. With the 3 energy, he has multiple things he can do. 1, he could attack for 2. He could attack for 1, but he can only do 1 of these a turn, from what I understand. And the other things he could do is heal or inspect, or we could move again. I think I'm going to damage that Sim in the square for 2 damage. That's the red Sim. It's going to take 2 damage. It still needs 1 in order to be stunned. I also want to bring to your attention, I haven't been sneaking, but this is the sneaking card, and I want to explain a little bit about how this goes. You don't get the priority token if you are sneaking. You also cannot attack with your energy. I could potentially use the bookcase and things of that nature, but I can't make my own attacks against the Sims if I'm sneaking, which is why I have not been sneaking. The other thing is all of these actions are going to take an extra energy, but I get +1 dodge if they attack me. And remember, they're going to attack everything in a square. So if I'm sneaking in the square where the person with the target token is, they'll be able to attack me, and I then can get the extra dodge even though I was sneaking, because I could still get hit by these Sims if I'm in their space. Speaking of Sims, let's see which the next one that's going to go. It's going to be the blue Sim. The blue Sim says target closest pet instead of the pet with the aggro. If tied, it's the player's choice. This blue Sim is right here, so it is going to target one of these two characters, and it doesn't really matter which one it targets because it's going to be able to hit every pet in the square here for 2 damage. But if I were to have if you would have been here and there's a pet there and a pet here, I could then, or for example, I already have a pet there. So if he was here, I could have chose which one to go to because they are equidistant to where he is. But we'll start with Clay here. Clay is going to roll the die. He got 2 of these feathers, but he cannot use those feathers based on his ability down here. So he's going to take 2 damage, 1, 2, down to 8. Next we have our Goose. Our Goose is going to roll. It got 1, which is great. It can use that 1. And remember, he reduces damage by 1, so he doesn't take any damage at all. Well, we know the green one is the only person left. So we're going to move with, or we're going to use Freya. Freya is the last pet that hasn't activated yet. So Freya is going to go now. We'll roll our dice and see what we get. We got energy and 1 luck. So we have 5 energy and 1 luck. At this point, I am going to be able to use my abilities. I'm going to use 2 to inspect where I am to be able to grab an item. And remember, this character has an ability. When Freya gains an item from the deck, she may gain an extra item. So I'm going to get 2 items. We have found a cosplay costume, which is absolutely awesome. It says use this at the start of a pet's turn. Enemies cannot attack this pet, and pet cannot attack Sims. So that is an item I'm getting. I'm going to put them up here. As you can see, there's items here. It's kind of off screen. And the second one I got is going to be Recycle Bin. During your turn, this pet's turn, draw level 1 card from the charm deck for this pet. That's awesome. Use during this pet's turn. Well, I'm just going to use, so I have to use it right now. And I'm going to draw a new charm. Now, there are a deck of different charms for all the different characters. For example, we've got some for the goose. We've got some for, this is the cat and things of that nature. So there's a whole bunch of different ones. We've got Tasty Honey. Now, for him, we have Tasty Honey. We also have the Puzzle Toy. And we have, I think, where's another one here? We've got one right here, the Nerf Launcher. So it could be one of those. I'm just going to take one. We're going to take the Nerf Launcher because that just sounds awesome. Now, remember, the cool thing about these is they do actually power up. So they can go to like level 1 and level 2 as you play through the game. And since I'm at this point next to a character and gaining things, you also could, as you go through the game, we're going to gain different traits for our characters as well that are going to give us more abilities and more that are going to empower ourselves up to be able to take on harder foes going forward. And if that wasn't enough, as you go through the game, you're going to level your characters up as well from level 1 to 2 to 3 and so you'll be able to gain more power and more abilities. For example, let's find our friend the raccoon. Well, first off, he's awesome because he's sitting on top of the garbage can with a Nerf gun, just like he is there. That's kind of awesome. Maybe it's a super soaker. But as you can tell, some of his actions get a little bit cheaper. It only takes 1 to inspect instead of 2. And he's able to do, then the rest is pretty much about the same, except for now he gained 2 extra items and things of that nature. So the characters do get better as they go up in power here. Again, at level 3, there's going to be like probably gain lots of items and things of that nature. So that's level 2 and this is level 3. So they do power up, which is going to be really awesome. So the characters aren't just going to be static characters. They are going to power up and gain more things going forward, not to mention charms and items as well to build out your characters how you think they're going to be able to play really well. I still have 3 left. I'm going to spend 2 to move 1 space, and then I'm going to gain 1 luck. I can't remember if I said I was going to gain this token, but I wanted to have the token. We're going to move over to that space right there, and that's going to end our turn. We'll draw our last sim. It's going to be the green one. The green one is going to activate. The green one has an ability. It says it's going to teleport directly to the target space and attack all pets in that space. Totally fine. Moving over here and attacking both of them for 2 damage. We'll roll for our friend Jane here. Jane got 3, so she's totally fine. And we'll just roll for Freya right here as well. Freya got a 3. And sadly, if you look at Freya, Freya cannot use the 3 that we got. It is crossed out. So no blocks, so it's going to take 2 damage, 1, 2. I could spend 3 to give myself a dodge, but I can't because I only have 2 luck to spend. That's going to be the end of the round, so we're going to go up to round 2. And we'll just continue going into the next round by taking all of our pet cards. We're going to give them a good old truffle shuffle here, put them down, and we're going to activate our first pet. It's going to be Jane. I think Jane is going to just stay sneaking. I think there's no reason for her to have the priority target token right now. We'll roll our dice, see how many energy we get. Oh my gosh, we got a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 energy to do. There's a lot of cool things I want to do, but the first thing we want to do is we want to interact with that our object there, or we want to interact with it. We're going to take 2 energy to do that. After we interact with that, we're going to run over and help our friends, I think. It's going to cost us a little bit more to move. Remember, 1 action more to go do a move, so it's going to cost us 1, 2 to be able to move 2 spaces. Oh, and it takes an extra energy to interact as well. I forgot about that. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to take us 1, 2, 3 to interact. And then it's going to take us 1 to move. And then, yep, we can take another 1 to move, and that's going to be it. Now, if you notice, it does say here, it's going to stun all Sims in this space. And then I'm going to read Interlude 2. So these have been stunned. I'm just going to lay their tokens down. And of course, I'm going to flip their cards over to the stunned side. Here's our interlude. It says, when the Sims walk by the bookcase, you push the shelves from the crack between the wall and the shelf with all your might, toppling the shelves and books on top of the strange humans. Even the digital books do some damage, and they are down. So that was super awesome. We were able to stun those 2 Sims. Now we're going to give their deck a good old truffle shuffle here because now one of them has to activate. And we are going to activate the blue Sim, who is going to target the closest pet instead of the pet with the aggro. If tied, it's the player's choice. So he's going to stay right where he is because he doesn't need to move anywhere to do damage. And of course, I forgot to move Cybercat here. Jane should have gone over there. And I am going to now be attacked by the blue one, even though the token is with Freya, our raccoon. Clay is going to roll defense and see how we do. He did get 1 dodge, so he's only going to take 1 damage down to 7. Roman is going to dodge. We got 1 luck. That's kind of nice. So he's going to take 1 damage, but you know what? I'm going to spend 3 luck to gain a defense here. So I'm not going to take any damage thanks to his reduced by 1. Let's see which one of our pets is going to go next. It's going to be Clay. It's Clay's turn. We'll roll our 3 dice, but first I'm going to grab the aggro token, totally fine. We'll roll this up. I got 1 energy and 1 luck, so he's going to go up to 1 luck, and he's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy. And at this point, since I have this token, I don't have to worry about adding any extra to any of my stuff I'm doing. I'm just going to do the 5 to interact with those pots and pans. So our pots and pans are going to deal 2 damage to all Sims, and all Sims entering the space suffer 1 damage. And I'm going to read Interlude 1. First off, doing 2 damage is going to knock this guy out. He's going to get stunned, and this one's going to take 2. Now, one thing I forgot is that this one is going to deal 2 damage to all pets within 0 when this character is stunned. So before I move on, I have to take damage for Jane and Freya because they were both in the space when this one got stunned. I'll roll our defense die for Jane. Jane was able to block 1, and I'm going to use this 1, 2, 3 to be able to block the other one. And we're going to just roll again with Freya right here. Got 1, so Freya is going to take 1 damage. Now Freya has 3 health left. We can now read Interlude 1. It says, you hide on top of a shelf in the kitchen next to the hanging pots and pans. When the Sims pass by, you jump from the shelf and pull all the cooking implements down on their poor heads, throwing them off balance. So our red Sim is stunned. We'll put the token down like that, and we'll draw the next Sim card. It's not going to matter. All it's going to do is stand up because all the Sims are down. We were able to knock them all down. The yellow one is going to become unstunned because that is the only thing it can do on their turn. When they're stunned, they will unstun. At this point, it'll go into our next pet's turn. It is going to be our goose. Our goose's turn. Hopefully our goose is not cooked. Actually, I think we're doing very well. I doubt our goose is going to get cooked. I'll take the token, that's fine. And we will roll up our dice. We got 1 luck and we have 5 energy. At this point, I can do 1 damage to the blue Sim that is there, and that will stun him. And remember, the objective is to stun every Sim once. Once that's done, 1, 2, 3, we want to try to either get to the front door or the back door. The 1 damage does stun this Sim. I will flip him over, and we will move 3 spaces with our goose. And by 3, 1, 2, 3, I could run all the way over here. I think I'm just going to run into the front door. We're all going to just try to get to the front door. I think that will be our best bet. I have 1 energy remaining, so we're just going to gain 1 luck and move into, oh, it's the Sim's turn. Which one's going to flip over? It's going to be our green Sim. Our green Sim is now unstunned. We will stand him up on the board, and now our last pet is going to go Freya. We'll roll our energy for Freya. Freya is going to take the priority token because I need to move. I need to move fast, and and if I sneak, moving costs more. So we want to try to get as much energy as we can. We got 2, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to put me 1, 2, 3, really close to getting out of here. The final Sim to activate is going to be our red Sim, so our red Sim is going to stand back up. And now we have some issues. Our Sims are not knocked out anymore. They're ready for action. That's the end of the turn. We're going to go to round 3. We're going to shuffle up our Sim cards here, our Sim activation cards, and see who goes. We'll give them a quick little truffle shuffle here, and we will draw a card. It is going to be Clay's turn first. Actually, that is perfect. Clay's going to take the token, which could be a bad idea, but I think it'll be okay. I'm going to grab the token and roll our 3 dice, see how much energy we get. We got no energy, but that'll be okay. I'm going to gain 2 luck instead, which is actually okay, and I will have my 4 energy. At this point, I am going to use 2 to move, and then Clay may choose another pet within 1 and move them 1 space. He's going to do that, and then he's just going to take the rest and make it into luck so he can spend it to hopefully dodge as some of these enemies come into attack. So Slinky Dog here is going to move over 1 space, and he's going to take, oh, I forgot to move this person, 1, 2, 3 over to here. I've moved the wrong thing. I moved the bad guy. All right, and he's supposed to be here. He's going to get pulled 1 space over here. So 3 of us are here. All we need is the cat to activate and get out of here, and we'll be okay because we have knocked all the Sims out once. Now, of course, that is the end of his turn, so we're going to go to the Sim's turn now and see who's ready to activate. Well, I guess the red Sim and the blue Sim is still knocked out. That's fantastic. We'll draw a card and see what it is. It's going to be our blue Sim who is going to stand up. He hasn't had a chance to activate yet, and it's going to go to our next turn. Come on, Jane. Nope, it's Freya's turn. I'm not going to roll the dice. Freya's totally fine. There's nothing to search here. Freya's just going to hang out. Now, he could shoot the Sim if he wanted to with his rocket launch. We're only going to do 1 damage. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to draw the next Sim card. And he's going to, no, it doesn't matter if he sneaks or not. He's stuck in the same room with the token. It's going to be our green Sim. Our green Sim is going to move to, and it's going to teleport directly to the space and attack all of the people. So it's going to teleport over here and attack. I'm going to roll for my characters individually here. We've got Roman. Roman is going to take no damage. Then it's going to be Clay. Clay is going to take 1 damage, going to 6, and then it's going to be Freya's turn, but instead of that, I am going to have him jump in front. When a Sim attacks another pet at 0, Roman may take the attack instead. So Roman is going to take this attack, got 1, and is going to take no damage. That was awesome. All right, that's the end of that turn. I'm going to move now. Come on, Jane. Jane's turn. Yes, Jane's going to roll some dice, and Jane's going to run past, and Jane's going to be awesome. So let's roll these dice, see how we do. We got 2 more energy. Jane's got a total of 6. Jane's going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 to run over to here. Now, I am going to run past the red Sim, but the red Sim is still stunned, and that was the one that was, if you ran past him, it would take 2 damage. That's not going to happen. We got all our Sims to the front door, and we have completed the mission. And remember, this is only the first mission, so as you can tell, it was probably a little bit easier than some of the stuff moving down the line. As you can see, there are 2 different conclusions if you went out the back door or the front door. And if you go out the back door, you would be moving into a new area as opposed to the front door. The back door would move you into the alleyways, and you would have to deal with those adventure, where the front door is going to take us to Treat Street. But let's check it out. After their success, the pets gathered at the front door. They looked back with relief at the chaos they had created, but they had only stunned the Sims, and some were already up on their feet. The pets quickly ran out of the house into the main street. Could one of the moving metal boxes take them to freedom? Maybe. And at this point, we would gain our rewards. We would draw some charms for our pets, and one of our charms can go to level 2. We'd be able to, the pets would never have more than 3 charms. And if we have a conclusion, proceed to chapter 2A, which, like I said, would be Treat Street, as opposed to Alley Cat Mayhem. And this is where our playthrough is going to end. We were able to get out of the apartment. Now, of course, the metal box they're talking about is, if I remember right, like a train car. They want to get into a train car. So it's kind of awesome that these pets are going to go on like a Milo and Otis type adventure all over the city to try to find Howard. I think that's pretty awesome. And I like the fact that this is a fun, quick adventure game that involves something other than the norm that you would see around most games. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so we'll see you know when more playthroughs come out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can join my Patreon. My Patreon is also found in the description of this video. Those that have already joined are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. The perks that the Patreon providers do get is that they're able to see my playthroughs usually about a day or two before they go live without commercial interruptions. On top of that, when we play games such as these with adventure games and things where you have to choose level ups or charms or things of that nature, I would let my Patrons decide who and how our characters level up so they get to be able to interact with the game even though they're not here playing it with me, even though I would love to have so many people playing games with me. It'd be awesome. If you do have any questions about this game in particular, please leave a question in the comment section below. If I can't answer it, I'll make sure I talk to one of the publishers that can be able to give me an answer for you. I hope again you enjoyed this crowdfunding prototype for Cyber Pet Quests. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see more of what Colin and I have in store, then I need you to meet me at the table.